So let's talk about this new subscription service from Mercedes. Yeah. I didn't read the article. I just read it briefly, and I'm going to touch up on some points for you guys here.
Okay, go for it. Do it.
So Mercedes is entering the subscription business by allowing users to subscribe to a monthly service starting at like $1,095 going up to $3,000 on top with an activation if you have like $495 or something like that. And what it does is you sign up and they bring you a brand new Mercedes car that you can drive for however long you want. The article does not specify how you get to pick a car. It doesn't specify.
Actually, there's an app.
There's an app.
Yeah.
There's an app, but you have to be in either Nashville or Philadelphia.
For now, so they're just testing it out. Okay.
The question is it always a new car?
Oh.
See, I mean, how often are they going to do that? Is it always going to be a new Mercedes, or are you going to get someone's, 50,000 mile Mercedes that came to you? I mean, how are they? I don't understand how it works. I just heard about it, but that's one of the things that because if I'm paying $1,000 a month, I want a new car.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
And I guess, is that gonna destroy like leasing cars? Like, is that they're trying to move away from leasing?
Not with that price, it's not. But then it goes up to $3,000. So I mean, if you wanna lease an AMG for the weekend or whatever, that's what we gotta find out. How long is that rental for?
Yeah.
Like, if you get a car for today, can I go on a trip this weekend and say, hey, you know what? I don't want my C63 no more. I want to get a SUV, and they say, okay, you know what? We're gonna drop it off on Friday. That would be cool if that was possible. You can, switch cars like that, but realistically, I don't think.
The article is written by Motor Trend. I'm sure that there's other people who have published articles that have talked about it. There's no specifics on how the app works. All we know is that you can sign up, and there's 3 different tiers that you can sign up for, starting at $1,000 and going up all the way to $3,000. Other than that, I know that Volvo is currently the only one that is doing the same kind of program nationwide.
I forgot Volvo was a brand.
When was the last time I seen a Volvo?
My mom has a Volvo.
But apparently, BMW, Cadillacs, Audi, and Porsche are also doing the same kind of quick rental, lease thing, subscription services for cars too. So it's kind of interesting.
Maybe they're just like renaming lease.
Well, maybe one thing that they could probably be different from a lease to a subscription is maybe the miles.
Yeah, because
Maybe
you're
not
locked
having,
in.
yeah, maybe not having unlimited miles, because then a lease you can only go 10,000 miles, 8,000 miles, depending on what kind of lease you get.
Yeah.
If you're paying $1,000 a month, I mean, I'm gonna want to drive it as much as I can. So that's probably something that might be something we want to look into.
What do you think they're doing? Like, once you use the car, it's like, okay, once it gets to like 80,000, like, what are they doing with it?
They probably retire the car.
Or they release it. Maybe they put it in their leasing program.
Yeah.
Or sell it because certified used car.
That might be it, because it includes maintenance, full maintenance on that stuff. So anything that you need for the car, it's included in $1,000, so you don't have to pay for anything.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing as a lease, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the same.
Well, not really, because at least you're locked in for 2 years,
Yeah.
18 months, whatever.
You're locked into a contract, and then you get penalized.
This is just a subscription, so you don't pay it the next month. Then
Yeah. It sounds
Just
like
take your car.
it sounds like there's a little bit more freedom with the subscription. But I don't have the app. I don't know how
I'm
it
not
works.
paying.
AJ said he's gonna pay for it, and he's gonna
Hell no.
test it out.
Hell no. I'm not gonna pay $1,000 a month. I think it's for people in a with more money that have $1,000 to just do whatever with, or $3,000 to do with whatever with, and they just want to drive a different car all the time.
Well,
Different color, different style, different whatever. There's people like that they want to drive different cars, because before the lease used to offer that. So a lot of people use that as a lease, and they use their lease, and in 2 years they get a new car. They always have a new car every 2 years. But I think the other thing is, how does that work for, say, if you have a business and you do a lot of leasing on vehicles? Can you use that towards your business as a write-off. Can you use a prescription?
Like a fleet or just one vehicle?
Well, a lot of companies, they have lease cars. They might have 5 cars that they're leasing.
Yeah.
Salesmen. I mean, in the business field, there's a lot of companies that do lease cars, and they're high-end cars. So I know my boss. He always leases. He never buys. He always wants to be in the latest and greatest. So
maybe it's just giving the flexibility of instead of locking it down for 2 years, they're just doing month to month.
Yeah.
Like Verizon.
Or like rent.
Or like rent? Is that what you said?
At our apartment, because it's just month to month right now. So we get to decide if we want to stay that month or if we want to leave that.
Another interesting concept with it being Mercedes-Benz and it being an upper end, car brand. What about the people who travel? Will you be able to, go on that month-to-month lease and say you're going to New York on a business trip for a month? Are you able to go on the app and go to the Mercedes-Benz dealership there, or they actually drive it to you, right? Will they be able to drive it to you while you're in New York? You get to drive it the whole time you're there. You don't have to worry about renting a car. You don't have to worry about none of that stuff while you're out there. Take the car, return it whenever your time's up, come back. And with that price range, I mean, that would be reasonable.
And that would be a good idea for the people that travel.
Maybe doing that to combat with Uber, because I'm sure a lot of people, especially our generations, probably stop buying cars, period, just because there's Ubers that are around in like Lincolns and Mercedes. I wonder if that's just to combat with that. That's a smart idea. Actually, now that I think about it, that's actually good on you, Mercedes.
Yeah.
Oh, remember, they're not the first.
They're not well, Volvo is, but who the hell wants to rent a Volvo?
So now every Volvo you see, you're gonna think they're on a subscription. Like, who wants to buy that shit? They're probably subscribed.
It's $25 a month. I'll be like, hell yeah, sign me up.
I wonder what their price range. That would be pretty interesting to see.
We'll have to look into it.
This is weird. But like, could you think that one day, like, every brand has a subscription service and you can't physically own a car anymore?
So reading the article, it also includes insurance.
Yeah.
So think about
What?
buying a Mercedes. Your insurance costs $300-400. You might as well do the subscription. If it's unlimited miles, I mean, what are you gonna lose? You're not gonna lose nothing. In reality, you're really paying for the same thing. A lease is gonna cost you $800. Insurance is gonna cost you $250-300.
Depending on how old you are.
I mean, you might pay that same amount of money.
Anyway.
And you have free maintenance.
And you could pick like, oh man.
And it comes to you.
And it comes to you with a full tank of gas, because this LA gas is expensive.
$5 already.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. I'm interested in the miles, knowing the miles, if there's a limit, and I'm also interested for people that travel, if you can actually like fly somewhere and get a car from there instead of having to get a rental car.
What's up, you guys? I hope you enjoyed that video. If you have any topics you want us to talk about, go over to the website, enginebase.com, and send us an email with a link, your name, so on and so forth. All the info is there for you to send us an email to. We'll go ahead and talk about that topic next time we make a video. Until then, we'll see you soon.